subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
ジェルもダブルシックス
Hello everyone, welcome to another Leader Spotlight. This time we're here to talk about Reiju and OP10, but we're doing something slightly different. This Reiju has no Foxy engine at all, so it's super interesting, super strong. For some context, in OP11, Reiju gets so many new Germa cards that she doesn't really need the Foxy engine anymore. So I've been very curious on, can I build a Foxy-less engine for OP10? Can it do well? Just to prepare people for what's coming in OP11, and I think I've done it. I've been practicing this deck for well over a week. On the sim, I've close to about a 65-70% win rate. Does well against most leaders. And even after the ban list, like, this deck is doing relatively well. So let's sort of dive into it. I'll explain some of my choices. There are some controversial picks in here, so it should be fun. So overall, if you're not familiar with Reiju, she is a blue-purple leader, 4 life, 5,000 attack. Your turn, once per turn, when one of your Dawn cards on the field is returned to your Dawn deck, draw 1 card. And that's a big theme of this deck, is you're constantly going to be doing Dawn -1, which is essentially taking a Dawn that is either active or rested, putting it back into your Dawn deck to play other cards, and when you do that, once per turn, you draw a card. So when you combine this ability with other cards from this deck, you can build up your hand size so large and essentially be ready for most things that go your way. So next we'll talk about putting. I think it's really important to have 2 of her in your deck. In OP10, OP11, hand sizes get too crazy. Think about characters like Enel or 3-cost Luffy or a 3 health Luffy. Just like there's so many even like black yellow Luffy, even though Moria is banned now. There's just so many leaders that can easily get such a big hand size, and a lot of times that makes it very hard for you to end the game. So I think having 2 of these puttings is really important, and I've seen this work relatively well in OP10 and 11. Next is going to be your main character. This is going to be your Ichiji. You want to have 4 of these characters. I think the reason why you want to have 4 is because this is going to be what continuously keeps your pressure up in the game. So for people who don't know, you play Ichiji, Dawn -1, and you can essentially summon a large Red Ranger, either from your hand or from your trash. And one of the good things about Reiju is most of the time you're going to be playing out of trash, which means that your big bodies, like your Red Ranger, your Blue Ranger, your Pink Ranger, your Green Ranger, you can use them as counter. You can get rid of them. If you're searching with Germa Kingdom, which you need to get rid of a card to search for 3 cards or look at the top 3 cards of your deck, you have to get rid of a card in hand. And for that, I think these Germa big bodies are perfect because using their little counterpart, you can summon them back from the trash relatively easily. So running 4 of these is definitely important because you want to see this as much as possible. Plus it has 1k counter, which is nice. And this is the big Red Ranger. You essentially Dawn -1, you summon this guy, and he gets Rush right out the gate, which is really awesome, and he gives the character -2,000 power. So that is like brutally super powerful. Get a couple of these bodies out, and your opponent's going to be scrambling to figure out what's going on. So running 4 and 4 of these, I think, is the way to go. Next is Judge. I think he is super powerful, and I only like to run 1 of him, and the reason why is this deck has so much draw power between your Germa Kingdom and between your new Vinsmoke Sanji, which lets you essentially look at 5 cards from your deck and pick one, you have a lot of draw power. Throughout your game, you're probably going to cycle through your deck once or twice. And typically, you don't want to play Judge till later in the game. He's very situational. So I think running 1 is good. If you want to run 2 for bigger consistency, you can. But 1 has been working out very well for me. His on-play, Don -1, trash 2 cards from your hand, and play up to 4 Germa 6/6 characters worth 4,000 or less. And this is really important because this can help you fill your board up. So what you can do is play out the Judge, then you can play out a small Red Ranger, a small Blue Ranger, a small Pink Ranger, and a small Green Ranger, and boom, use Don -1, and now you have a full board with powerful, scary characters. And the other great part about this is his Activate main, which kind of gets overlooked often, but I think is really important, especially for people who are running things like whatchamacallit Gum Gum Giant and other counters that cost Don. Activate main once per turn, Don -1, rest up to one of your opponent's Don card. Like, this is such a great way to finish out a game in case they have the option of playing out some counters. So I think you only need 1, but if you want to run multiple, I totally understand. Like, go for it. Next is going to be your Sora. I like to run 4 of these, primarily at the gate. I think the 2K counter is really nice, especially since Reiju only has 4 life. Like, you want to be able to protect yourself. You want to be able to protect your characters. So running 4 of these is great. And on play, you discard 1 card from your hand. As long as you have equal or less Don, which you will in most cases, you can essentially take a character that's 4,000 power or less, that has Vinsmoke family in the name, and put it to your hand from trash. So this is a really great way to pull back some of your baby ranges. Like, if you want to be able to get a Red Ranger out to put down this Rush or something else, it's really impactful. Most of the time, you are going to use it for the counter, but it's great to have this additional option. So 4 of these, I think, is definitely necessary. Next is going to be Vinsmoke Niji. I only like to run 2 of these and 2 of the big bodies, and the reason for this is when Dofi was a huge threat, after the ban list, essentially Jinbei has been banned, so it's a little bit harder for, Dofi to build up his board size. So when Dofi was a huge threat, I think having 3 to 4 of these big bodies kind of makes sense. And the reason why is, let's kind of look at his on-play ability. When you play him, you can pick one of these 2 effects. You can't use both, unfortunately. KO up to one of your opponent's character with a cost of 2 or less. Really nice to get rid of those annoying searchers, or those 2 cost or less blockers. And if you don't want to do that, the next option is return up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less to own his hand. So again, really great for putting back small blockers back in the hand, dealing with Dofi. Because Dofi is not such a huge threat, I think running 2 of these is more than enough. You have enough draw power. If you need to find a Niji, you can easily do so. So 2 and 2 is my recommendation. If you want to go up to 3, you can. But I really don't think you need 4 in OP10 or even OP11. Next, this is one of the big controversial ones. Most people will say, why are you running Yanji? Like, why not just run this other Sanji card right here? And the reason for this is, take a look at this. While you have two or more fewer Don cards than your opponents, which you will most of the time, this card costs 3 or less, right? So essentially, you can put down this card for 3K, it has 6K power, 2K counter, really awesome, right? But here's the part of why you want the Green Ranger. For only 2 cost, right, and a Don -1, which activates Reiju ability, you can play out the big body. And the ability for this is, if you have equal or less Don on the field than your opponent, this character gains 1,000 power. So because you're always doing Don -1, this character is almost always going to be at 6,000, which is very equivalent to this Sanji right here. But the extra benefit is, when you play out the Judge, now you can fill your entire board back up, because you can put Judge down, red, blue, green, pink, and now you have 5 characters on the board. So I think this is really important, especially since in OP10, OP11, a lot more bigger bodies are introduced, even EBO2. Having this strong blocker, which has 6K, is really great, because a lot of times this blocker doesn't have to die. You can easily counter out of most attacks, keep him alive, and if he does die, you can use the baby Green Ranger to bring him back, or use Sora to bring back Yanji and bring this back. So there's so many different combos and options. That's why I think it's really important to have about 2 of these. If you want to run more, you can. I don't recommend it. I think 2 is more than enough. So that's like, I know people really prefer this. I've tried using this so many times. It is good. I'm not saying this card isn't good, but I just think Yanji is so much better. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. 2 and 2, I think is a good recommendation. Next is going to be Pink Ranger Reiju, cost 2, and her big body. I love this big body Reiju because this is the card that lets you build up your hand size to such crazy amount. So on play, if you have equal less stun, which we will, on the field, if you have 5 or less cards in your hand, draw 2 cards. So if you use this, right, and you combine it with Reiju's ability, you can get 3 cards in hand. So imagine playing this out on your first turn when you have 2 down, or your second turn, right? You can build up your hand size so quickly, get more options in hand. Like 4 and 4, you have to run it this way. There's no other way. I've tried it so many ways. With this Reiju, just so clutch, getting so many cards in hand. I just love it. Next, we're going to dive into Black Maria. She's probably... Actually, yeah, this is the second card in this deck that's not Germa. Besides this and Gamma Knife, everything else is Germa. And the reason why Black Maria is so impactful, first, she has 2k counter, which is great. So I like to run about 4 of her. If you want to run 3, you can. But I think 4 is great for the 2k counter. On top of that, because you're doing Dawn -1 so often, most of the time, you're going to have a lot less Dawn than your opponent. And that can be impactful because if you don't have too many Dawns, you can't play out too many characters, you can't attach Dawn and do big swings. So Black Maria is really good at helping that. Essentially, the way she works is activate main once per turn. You can essentially put 5 rested Dawn on your Dawn area, and end of your turn, you essentially make sure your Dawn is equal to your opponent's. So if your opponent has 10 Dawn and you have 6 Dawn because you've been doing a lot of Dawn -1, you play back Black Maria, you're up to 10 rested Dawn now, and because your opponent has 10 Dawn, you don't have to get rid of any rested Dawn. And next turn, when you play again, you're at 10 Dawn again. So it's really important. You really need this card to ramp back up. Without this, you're going to be in a lot of hurtful situation where you don't have enough Dawn to be able to do, a big enough impact. So run 4 of her. And the 2k counter, just too beautiful. It works out great. Next is going to be this OP10 Sanji. I like to run about 3 of these. You could run 4 if you want. The biggest benefit is this has 1 cost, or it's 1 cost, has a 1k counter. And on top of that, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, look for a Germa character, put the rest in the bottom of your deck. So this is just another way for you to search. And this gives the deck so much draw power. Like this plus Germa Kingdom essentially helps you get whatever card you need. The next card is, I wasn't really paying attention to this when this came out in OP10, but Replicate Soldier is a really good, I think, replacement for Chopper. So this is a blocker, 1k counter, 2k cost, and most importantly, you can search for this. I know with Chopper, you get an extra Dawn back from as rested, so you can ramp back up. But because you can search for this, I think it's really powerful. And because Reiju only has 4 health, you need a lot of counters in this deck, and you need a good amount of blockers. So running about 3 to 4 of these is definitely recommended. I wouldn't do 2 or less. So test this out. Let me know what you think. And this is my next favorite card, Gamma Knife. So I made an OP10 video. Someone made a comment essentially saying, hey, it's horrible. The list you had, it wasn't. It was doing pretty well. But he did call out something interesting that I loved, which is Gamma Knife. I haven't really looked into this card too much or even considered it, but I think this card is super OP. So this costs 2, main. Dawn -1, give one of your opponent's character -5,000. Just think about that. For 2 costs, you can give any character 5,000, which is ridiculous. It lets you deal with any big bodies, blockers, whatever you need. And it's Dawn -1. So before running Gamma Knife, I used to run Red Rock, and Red Rock is cool, but the problem with Red Rock is it costs 6. So especially with Reiju, since you're doing Dawn -1 often, you don't have a lot of Dawns to begin with. If you don't play Black Maria to ramp back up, you're kind of in a hard position. So what I found happening a lot of times is I would play Red Rock, which costs 6, and I would have nothing else to really, no other Dawns I can really use. So having Gamma Knife, I think, is super clutch, and its trigger is also really cool too. Add up to one of your Dawn from your deck is active, so another way to ramp up. run 3 to 4 of these. Like, I've been doing so much testing, and Gamma Knife works beautifully in this deck, especially if you combine Gamma Knife with the Rush. You can take most things out. So run 3 to 4 of these. If you haven't used this yet, test it out. Let me know what you think. And then the last 2 cards we're going to talk about. First is Black Bug. This is super situational. I like to just keep 1 copy in my deck, just because you can search for it. Because this deck has so much draw power, you're going to eventually, cycle through your entire deck, find this. And the reason why this is so impactful is main, if the number on your Dawn is equal to less, which it is, place one of your opponent's 5 cost or less character at the bottom of this deck. Like, this is such a great way to deal with characters with annoying on KO ability, like Lucky Roo or Basil Hawkins from the new Yellow Kid. Or if you have a blocker, if you're trying to end the game and someone put on an annoying blocker, this is such a great way to deal with it. It only costs 4. So I think running 1 of these is more than enough. You don't need more than 1. You're going to easily be able to search for this. So some people say don't include this, but this has saved me so many times. Give it a try. I think it's going to be worth it. And then lastly, and most importantly, this is the best card in this deck. And you want to try to find this within the first few hands. Ideally within the first hand. If my first hand, I don't have, let's say, a Germa Kingdom, a Sanji, then I'm going to mulligan. The only time I won't mulligan is if I have this baby Pink Ranger and the big Ranger. I'll keep these 2 just because I can play her out and get more cards in hand. But besides that, if you don't have the Sanji, if you don't have Germa Kingdom in your first hand, please mulligan. And the reason why this card is so OP, activate main, you may discard 1 card and, rest the stage, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to a Germa card, and bottom deck the rest. So this is such a great way to keep cycling. So especially if you end up with a lot of Red Rangers in your hand, these guys give you no benefit to keeping it in your hand. No counters, nothing to really do unless you play it out using the small Red Ranger. So you can just trash these. Even your other big bodies, as I mentioned, Reiju is played from the trash. Your smaller bodies can summon your bigger bodies from trash or your hand. So using Germa Kingdom, just keep getting rid of the bigger bodies, keep doing your searches, and building up your optimal combo. So with this deck, with running no Foxy engine at all, I probably played close to 100 games or so, and I won about 70 of them, 65 or 70 of them. Even with tough matchups like Blackbeard. Some people might say, hey, this deck is mostly on play, it's hard against Blackbeard. It's not, because Blackbeard, the only way they can shut you down is by essentially using their leader ability every turn, right? If they do that from the very beginning, they're going to starve themselves. And when they starve themselves, all you have to do is just play out the bigger bodies, play out the 7 cost, the 4 cost, the 5 cost, and just take them out. So just Reiju has so many good matchups. And the reason why I feel like she's not in top 10 is because not enough people play her. They assume her combos are too difficult. They're not. They're relatively easy, straightforward. And let's get into a couple of games. Let me show you why this deck is so beneficial. So I'm not sure if I'll go back to Foxy Engine or not. It does have its benefits, but I think this deck is pretty awesome. So let's get into a couple of games, and I'll see you guys there. Alright, let's get into it. OP10, you got Reiju versus the new Yellow Kid. So it should be awesome. Let's go first. We typically want to try to find a stage card if possible, but we do have our blocker here. I'm going to go for stage. We didn't find our stage, but we do have the Sanji, which I think is really nice, especially if you're going first. Do the search, see what you can find. I really want to get this Red Ranger out. I should have probably gotten to pink to get more cards in hand, but I think red's the way to go. So we will return that, and we'll end our turn. That was a very tricky call, because if I would have gotten the baby Reiju, I could have gotten her next turn, get more cards in hand. But at the same time, getting this Vince Smoke ETG, this is how you go in and really become a nuisance early on. So I think that's really important. So we have 3 in hand. I think what we need to do here is do a 6k swing, and then we'll put down one of our Replicate Soldier. I think having a blocker is always a good idea. End our turn, and next turn we can actually start using our combo with ETG, get out this 7k rush, and hopefully lay down lay a smackdown or some kind. Man, it's funny, I'm thinking about all these wrestling references in my head. So he's coming in, he's going for a big swing, 8k. You know what, I'll probably take that. I think 1 extra card is not bad. He does have one card left. Okay, can't really do much. Nice. We can actually put our stage card down. So stage, let's get this Red Ranger. I think a 2K counter is always good, so I'm just gonna pick that up. And then now we have 4, so what we can do is boom, start doing our combos. Awesome. -2, not that, you know, he has a blocker here. So let's actually first go in for a 5K, get rid of a card in hand at least. Yep, and then he's probably just gonna block out of this, which is perfectly fine. No, he actually lets us take a life, so I'm cool with that. We'll end our turn. We still have a blocker. We have a good amount of counters in hand, so I think we're in a great place. 6K, so we'll just use our Sora, counter out of this. For people who don't know, at the end of your turn, you may turn one of your top card of your life face up. Set up to one of your 3 to 8 cost characters with Supernova type active. That character gains blocker until the end of your opponent's next turn. So definitely can be annoying. We got Ruku, which is always cool. Let's see what we want to do here. So we're going to do another search here. Get rid of this Reiju. Take out this Green Ranger, which we could definitely use later on. So we only need 2 for the Green Ranger. So let's see how we want to play this out. 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll do 2 8K swings. This guy is 7K. That's crazy and sick at the same time. And he does have 2 blockers, so he can easily deal with this. But let's see what he does. The moment of truth. I also hate this Hawkins right here. On KO, trash one of your opponent's top of life card. So annoying. If this guy does attack next round, I can Gamma Knife him and take him out. So that's quite interesting, and he's really thinking, what should he do? He probably knows like an 8K swing is coming or bigger, and he wants to, you know, stay relatively safe. Come on, buddy. He's thinking, think away. Sometimes One Piece feels like chess, you know, depending on how long someone takes to think, but I guess it can be. A lot of times, like, especially if I know my opponent's deck very well, I try to play out in my head what they're going to do for the next turn or two, potentially, and see how I would counter that. So during those situations, especially at locals, I can spend a little bit extra time thinking about it, but this guy is thinking a lot. Jesus, all that just to give this up. Ridiculous. Let's actually do an 8K swing right here. Cool, he gave that up, and then we can get down on another blocker. Boom. Awesome. We also have this Reiju for next turn we could play out for more cards. And now we have 2 blockers, which is really great for us. If he does attack, I'm simply going to block with Replicate Soldier. And then next turn we can Gamma Knife him and really take him down. With Gamma Knife, he'll be down to like 2K. So he can easily get wiped off the board. And you got this annoying Basil Hawkins. Let's see what this guy does. Come on, buddy. Do your big swing. He's doing 7 here. So the question really becomes, should I block out of this? And the answer is probably going to be yes. You know what? We will actually just give up 7. We'll actually block that. And then we can just do a 2K right here. I think that was the way to go. I really didn't want to give up this baby Reiju. We still have this Replicate Soldier around in case he attacks. So I think that puts us in a good place. Like, did he forget I have a Replicate Soldier? Come on, buddy. And it's funny, this is what Germa things are actually used for. Is, you know, if any of the main Germa characters go down, these guys jump in the way and kind of just take it. But before we play our Gamma Knife, let's play this out. Get down our other Reiju, get some extra cards in hand, seeing what our options are, and then we can go in and do some nice attacks. So we're going to Gamma Knife this guy right here. -1. Boom. We want to keep 2 around for Replicate Soldier. And this guy's at 2K. So I'm going to do this just to get some cards out of his hand. And then I'll go in for like a proper attack. So we got 2K right here. What's he going to do? He's thinking. Either way, this is mostly done just to get... I'm not expecting this attack to go through. He can easily counter out of it. But if it does, that's crazy. That leaves us with more option. But hopefully he just gives up a card, and then we're going to attack with Reiju into this. He might block, so we'll do like a 6k with Reiju, and then we'll, at the end, put down a Replicate Soldier. So let's see. Yep. He actually took that. Quite interesting. So we can actually come in here now and just take this guy out. I really don't want to take this out because we'll just lose a life, which is really, really annoying. So I think I'm actually just going to go in for the attack. 7. You know what? Let's actually, we'll do 2 7k swings here. Yep, give that up. And then we'll come in here, do another 7k swing. See what we can pull out of his hand. Yep, we got a card out of hand, which is perfectly good. And then we can put down a Replicate Soldier. And let's actually go in here as well too. And, ooh. Funny, we got rid of the big version to get a baby version, which we can summon out later, which is good. I considered killing this Basil Hawkins, but I really didn't want to lose a life. Oh man, this Trafalgar Law, so annoying. He goes in for 7. We're going to simply block out of this. You know what? I'm going to use Pudding now, just because he has only 4 cards in hand. So, getting rid of a Reiju I don't think is really worth it. He's going for the attack. But then I have a Replicate Soldier, so... Ooh, you know what? I could keep the Replicate Soldier around, which is nice. So, I'm going to give up one of my Soras, actually. Boom. And then he's probably going to give Law a blocker, I suspect. Man, it's annoying that he got that life back. On play, reveal a Supernova type character from your hand and add it to the top of your life. Face down. Then if your leader has Supernova type, give one of your Rested Dawn to your leader. Definitely super annoying. Cool art though. There we go. He gave one of his characters blocker. And let's see. Like, we're not going to play out the judge here. Let's see what we can do. First thing is, let's replace this Sanji actually. Get some more cards in hand, and this will give us more options. If we can get like a black bug or something, that would be so clutch. I'm not hoping for it though, but... Let's grab another Red Ranger. Probably didn't need that actually. And now we should have a good amount of things that we can do here, which is good for us. You know what's funny? I can actually play out another Red Ranger if I really wanted to. Yeah, but I don't want to lose anything here, so we'll go do some attacks. So we have 5, 6, 7. Yeah, let's do a 7k swing here. Boom. We'll keep these 2 blockers around just in case. This guy's trying to get some big bodies. I feel like he wants to block with this, so he can take one of my life. Like, that's probably a good way to do it. Let's see. He put this Drake back up. Come on, buddy. Yep, that's kind of what I figured. I would lose that. Yep, not surprised there. Let's do another 7k swing right here. Boom. Cool, and then we can actually come in here. I'm really like conflicted on if I should attack with him or not. I probably will end up attacking with him. So let's do a 7k swing first. See where we end up. He has 5 cards in hand. Is he going to counter out of it? If he counters out of it, no, he actually gave that up pretty peacefully. So, oop, he froze that. So I'm glad he made the decision for me, because I wasn't too sure if I really wanted to attack or not. But I can live with that. So we have 2 life. We have 2 blockers. He has 1 life. And again, with this character, he can easily get a second blocker. So this is getting very interesting. What I really need like next turn is like a black bug. If I get a black bug in bottom deck, whatever one he chooses to be a blocker, that's going to put us in a good position. Not this, so he's the cost 7. So essentially for black bug, we need 5 or below. Oh man, that is so annoying. So he's going for this Reiju. I feel like I should protect this Reiju so next turn I could go in for a potential kill. So we got 5, 6, 7. Man, should I do it? Should I not do it? That is the question. And I'll actually give up my Replicate Soldier. He still has that Law, so... I'm surprised he really wants to take out this Reiju, but I guess if you hate her, you hate her. Do, do, do. And then it's just crazy he can make one of these cards active again. Super, super annoying. But before that, let's actually do a cycle again. See what we could potentially pull out. We can get another Red Ranger, which I'm really excited by. Cool, so we have 8 cards in hand now. And we could just empty his board out. I think that would be ideal. We could do 2 Gamma Knives. Let's see, can we end the game here? We actually might be able to end the game. Let's actually go for a game ender right here. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we'll do an 8K swing on him. See where we end up. He can easily block out of that, so I'm not too concerned. Man, so my heart's beating a little just because this could be it. Or we could push it to next turn and potentially see where we end up. But I am really worried he could potentially kill me next turn. We could also -5 this and kill him, and I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what he does. Either he's gonna block this, or he's gonna... Even if he blocks it, we might be able to win here. I'm feeling good about this, but it can definitely change depending on... And he only also has 5 cards in hand, which is really nice. Yep, he blocked out of that, and now we have options, which is really good for us. So the first thing we're gonna do is let's go ahead and attack with this. Boom. Let's do a 6K swing, see where we end up. Oh, baby. So 6K. We do have a decent amount of counters in hand in case it goes into next turn, but I'm worried that's going to be a little messy. The other option here, now even if I give these guys -5, I don't think that would really work out. He has 4 cards in hand now. This doesn't have a counter. So I feel like we need to, boom. Let's attack with this 7K, see where we end up. Wow, okay. He only has 1 card in hand now, so we can attack with this 6K. Is that a 2K counter? Okay. And then, oh, this is gonna be tough. Either I'm gonna win here, or it's gonna go really bad. Boom, play this guy out. Yep. Do that. Going for a 7. Let's see if he has it. Yes, boom! And we did it. That was very risky, but definitely very worth it. GG, Yellow Kid. You're always fun to go against. Let's jump into another one and see how this pure, or not pure Germa, but non-Foxy engine Reiju does. But GG, guys. See you guys at the next game. Alright, guys. Let's do one more game with OP10 Reiju versus the new Luffy. I think this is started deck 21. So really cool stuff. Let's actually go first. And, you know, I've been playing a lot of games just practicing with Reiju, with a Foxy engine. And for some reason, I've been like not getting my German Kingdom very often. It's like the simulator is like bugged on me or something. But I'm really happy I finally got a German Kingdom, which can really set up us for some awesome combos next turn. Or just throughout the entire game. Like having this card early as possible is so good. Just because it gives you so much draw power. In this new structure deck 21, Luffy, Dawn ×1, activate main once per turn. Give one of your characters up to 2 Rested Dawn, which is really annoying because there's like a Zoro card in here where you can give 2 Dawns and it gives Rush. And there's other cards like that. Just super duper annoying. I'm not a big fan of it. Let's actually get rid of this. Oh, this is actually kind of what I wanted. Let's get out the Reiju, do some combos. So first, let's go in for attack. Try to whittle some health down. I can't believe this Luffy got 5 life. Probably feel like it should have been 4 life, but... Put this down. Baby Pink Ranger. Get out the Big Ranger. This essentially gives us 3 cards in hand, which is quite nice. End our turn. So next turn, we have options. We can either get the Green Ranger down, or we can try to search for a Red Ranger and get Rush, which will be good. They do a 6K. Since we only have 4 life, like, let's counter out of this. This card is also annoying. This character gains 3,000 power on my turn. Or on their turn, never mind. I read that wrong. This actually works out better. Let's go, and we could put down another Reiju, but before we do that, let's get rid of this. Look at that. We found our Red Ranger. This is exactly what we were waiting for. So let's go and do some swings. We'll do some 5 and 5, and then we'll put down the Red Ranger and see what more havoc we can do. And his hand size is already starting to build up, so I'm really happy that I do have 2 pudding in this deck. I just hope I can get to them when I need, so I can make some plays happen. Yep, he did that. Awesome. Let's play out our Red Ranger. And look, we have another Red Ranger too, which really works out for us. If he ends up killing this, we can summon him back easily again. So that's like a really big positive for us. Yep, keep countering, buddy. There we go. So we end our turn. They're down to 5 cards again. They have 6 now. But this is the Zoro that I was talking about. So annoying. Because with his leader ability, you essentially give him 2 Dawn. He's at 7. He has Rush. And on KO, play a red character with 6,000 base power or below, other than Zoro. So like, how annoying is that card? I almost never play red decks at all, or red exclusive decks. Like, he's doing it right now. Nasty. So nasty, this new Luffy deck is. So he comes in for that. We're probably going to give this up. Not really much we can do. And then Zoro comes in for 7. You know what? I'm probably going to eat this. Yeah, I'll eat that. And then I'll counter out of this right here. Boom, we have a Black Maria. Awesome. Let's go in. Cost of 2 or less. Let's do some searching. Let's get rid of this. See what else. Oh, the pudding is right there. It's literally what I needed. Pudding, let's keep you up. Not now, but for later, I think pudding would be definitely good. 2-2. We can actually do that. I think that would be beneficial to us. So we need 4. Let's actually go in. Yeah, let's actually do that. No, let's do a 5k swing, see where we end up. I would like to keep 1 around just so I can play the Sanji later. And if I kill this guy, he's going to essentially just put down another character, which is really going to suck for me. Let's see. Should I do that? I'm still debating. I feel like we have to try to go for life here. I think going for life is probably going to be our best option. Let's go for life. Let's leave the Zoro around. Because he can easily just play another Zoro. Not another Zoro, but another red card that potentially has Rush. Boom, yep, that's what we want. Now let's go in here. Play this Vinsmoke Scout. Boom, we have another red, which is really great for us. And then we can actually come in here again. Play out this Reiju. Get down our big, yep, there we go. Look at that, we're filling our hand up. And then one last thing we can do is play down a Search. See what we want to potentially pull out. I think a 2k counter here, even though I want to replicate Soldier, I think a 2k counter is what we need. Let's put pudding back up. And that was both our pudding, so we got to go through our deck again, which isn't too bad. End our turn. So our board size is filling up. Our opponent does have, you know, yep, another Zoro. Oh god. This Zoro is just so funny. Why is this one getting... Okay, so we got 5-5. We're actually going to counter out of that. Not a deal. We got another 5 here. So we can actually just counter out of that. Awesome. And then what else do we have here? We have a 7k. So we will actually just take this. We have a Sora. And then we'll counter out of this. Boom. Awesome. Now, what we're going to do is go with the Sanji, attack this Nami first. Do we have any other Red Rangers in our deck? No, we don't have any other Red Ranger. But what we can do is actually give up one of our Gamma Knives, because we have 3 of them. And look at that. That's kind of exactly what we needed, actually. So now we can come in here, put down one of our Red Rangers. Boom. Play this guy out. Boom. Do that. Give him -2. And then with this -2, I should be able to come in with my Reiju. And let's take him out. He's on a clear board right now. He's going to try to play something else out. This Luffy with Rush. I kind of had a feeling he was holding on to that. But the question is going to become, does he have another one that he's potentially holding on to? Hopefully not. But let's go ahead and... I'm going to attack with this 7k right here. We'll see if he has another... Luffy that he could put out. Oh, he's gonna actually counter out of it. Interesting. Boom, counter out of that. Not too worried. He has 1 card left. Let's actually take this out because this card is annoying. And does he have another Luffy? Nope, he doesn't have another one. So that's actually really good for us. So I'm really happy about that. And then we can actually come in here, do a 6k swing. And this is kind of a dangerous place to be because he doesn't really have too many cards in hand. And from what I recall, this deck doesn't really have too many ways to get cards in hand, so it can be dangerous. Like, I don't think we should attack. We should keep our blocker around just in case. We do have 2 Red Rangers. We have a Sora. If we don't use this as counter, next turn we can at least bring this back if necessary. If your opponent has a character with 5,000 power or more, this character gains Rush during this turn. Okay, quite nasty. Let's see. Okay, you know what? Kill one of my Red Rangers. I'm perfectly fine with that. As I mentioned with Sora, we can bring one of them back, so I'm not too worried about that. He's going for 8k swing. Go ahead, we'll take it. And look, we have another Red Ranger. Perfect. And then he's not putting any blockers down, so that's kind of like really dangerous. Why is he attacking this? Okay. I guess he really doesn't like this Vince Smoke Sanji. Let's actually go in here, get rid of this red. The reason why I like trashing this Red Ranger, it has no counter. It literally can't do anything for us until we play it. So, I guess we can take him. So the question really becomes, I'm not going to end the game. I think we should just kill these 2, and then we'll kill them next turn. So we'll Gamma Knife these. Boom. Select 1 Don to return. Gamma Knife. 5k. So we'll actually come in here. Boom. Take that out. And then we're going to Gamma Knife this as well too. Yep, awesome. Nothing you can do. Come in with our Gamma Knife again. Send that back. And then he only has 1k. And at that point, boom, attack that. Cool, he gives that up. And we still have 2 left. The question is, what can we do with these 2? We could go for 2 attacks, but I think the best and safest thing is let's just give him a big swing, get him down to 1 life. And then luckily we still have our blocker, we still have a good amount of counters in hand, and we'll enter. Like, I was very tempted to try to end the game, but I think clearing out his board definitely made the most amount of sense here. We still have a good amount of counters. Ooh, he has, trying to have 0 life. So we're gonna easily just counter out of this. Boom. And if he attacks with this, I'm just gonna take it just because I don't mind going to 0 life. Boom, we'll go to 0 life, and then next turn we'll just end the game. So here, he has 1 life, he has 3 cards in hand. So first we're gonna do 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do an 8k swing. Yep, he has no cards. So now what we can do is essentially just whittle his health down a little. Boom, do a 5k. I like to be a little safe. I could just try to end the game here. Let's also go ahead and just do this right here. A 6k swing. Yep, give that up. And then we come in here, give our Red Ranger the rest of our Dons, and boom, we win. That's it. Like, this is why Reiju is so powerful. Like, with other decks, I have such a hard time against this leader, but Reiju just has the tech for all. Or most leaders, I should say. But with that, GG guys. I'll probably do a crap ton more games in the future. I've had a lot of success without running the Foxy engine, so I'm really happy I was able to share with you guys. And you guys saw why Gamma Knife is so powerful. So the person who recommended that to me on my YouTube channel, thank you so much. I've been having a lot of fun with Gamma Knife, and it's definitely the way to go. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.